Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sumukascha Ekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha. Lambodharasya Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha. Dhumaketurganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha. Vakrashundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam. Pradannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye. Yastyat Virada Bhaktradhya Parishadhya Parasratam. Vignam Sri Satatam Vishwakshenam Tamasraye. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Aklishtakarine. Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine. Krishnadvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvabhuta Hiteratam. Vedabja Bhatkaram Vande Samadhi Nilayam Munim. Pagasvaramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranane Adabaho. Sahasranamnam Stavanam Pratastam Drishyate Janrajaradishantaye. With Bhagavan's grace, let us continue from where we left off. We were in the Dhyanam portion. Kshirodanvat pradeshe tushimani velasat saikate mautikānām mālā kluptā sanasthas padhikamani nibhair mautikair manditāngah subhrairabhrair adabhrair upari virasitai mukta piyusha varshaihi Anandina punyadari nalina gada shankapanir mukundah Bhupadau yasya nabhir vyadasura nilaschandra suryau chanetre Karna vasa sirodhyau mukamapi dhagano yasya vasteyamabdihi Antastam yasya viswam suranara kakago bhogi gandharvadaityaihi Chitram ram ramyate tam tribhuvana vapusham vishnumisam namami Shantakaram bhujagasayanam padmanabham suresam Viswadharam gaganasadhrutam meghavarnam subhangam Lakshmikantam kamalanayanam yogihruddhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum bhavabhayaharam sarvalokaikanatham. We came up to that point. உங்களுக்கு வந்து இது வேணுமா தமிழ் புக் ஒன்று வேணுமா விஷ்ணு சாஸ்திரம் புக்கு கீழே இருக்க கிளாஸ் முடிஞ்ச அப்புறம் எடுத்துக்கிறீங்களா எக்ஸ்ட்ரா லாட்ஸ் ஆஃப் காப்பீஸ் டவுன் ஸ்டேர்ஸ் சரியா உங்கள்கிட்ட இருக்கு இல்லையா ஓம் மேகஷ்யாமம் பீத கௌசேயவாசம் ஸ்ரீவத்சாங்கம் கௌஸ்துபோத்பாசிதாங்கம் புண்ணியோபேதம் புண்டரீகாயதாக்ஷம் விஷ்ணும் வந்தே சர்வலோகைகநாதம் மேகஷ்யாமம் பீத கௌசேயவாசம் Meghashyamam, Megham, that is the cloud. Shyamam, the body. Bhagavan Shyamam, Neela Megha Shyamala Varnan, we say. And Bhagavan Shyamam, all of us have body, but Bhagavan's body is different. Avatar Purusha's body is really different. And even though it has taken a human form. So that is the color of Megham, Meghashyamam. The dark, water-bearing clouds, how do they appear? Are they really pitch dark? No, it is not. It has got a blue, dark blue, isn't it? Before the rains come, if you really look at it, it is really not black, but it is kind of pitch black, but extremely dark blue. It is that kind of a color, the body's color. Meghashyamam, Pita Kauseya Vasam. Kauseya means that is a cloth that he is wearing. Okay. And Pita, that's the yellow. Okay, Pita Kauseya Vasam. He is wearing that yellow color, what we call as Veshti or Dhoti or Ambaram, that we call it. Vasam. Sri Vatsangam. Okay, Srivatsa Angam. Now, Angam means body. Angam also means part. Both it means. Okay, Angam means body. But this body has got what? Srivatsam. Srivatsa mark. It's only Bhagavan only has it. When Bhagavan fighting with Hiranyaksha, okay, and that is when in that battle he got a Srivatsam, which means what we call as Virupun in Tamil, when you go and battle those days, in spite of the armor you are wearing, when somebody hits a sword or another, it cuts your body and then it leaves a mark behind. Right? Even now when we have a surgery, okay, the mark is left behind on the skin, isn't it? So it is like that. That mark, Srivatsam, is in his heart, right here to the right side of his chest. It is there. Okay? So Bhagavan has that. That is Srivatsan. Okay? Srivatsa Angam. Kaustubha Udbhasita Angam. Kaustubha Udbhasita Angam. Again, body is, he's talking about the body is like what? It is wearing dark blue, pitch dark, almost black kind of a color the body is, right? You can picture it, and wearing a shining yellow cloth, yellow vesti he is wearing. Just imagine how he will be. Okay, picture. And then he has got a mark on his body, on his chest that you can see. Then there is something else. Kaustubha Udbhasita Angam. The body also has got Kaustubham, that is shining so brightly. So brightly. Udbhasita. Bhasita. Udbhasita. Ud means coming out of. And the Bhasita means shining in effulgence, tremendous light. Okay? And so Udbhasita, it is coming from that Kaustubham. And Kaustubham is the jewel that he is wearing. Okay? On his chest. That Angam. So you can now picture Bhagavan. He is picturing it for us to meditate on him in this form. Udbhasita Angam. Punya Upetam Pundarika Ayata Aksham. Punya Upetam. When we talk of what is Punyam, what is Papam, is Bharata himself asks Rama, after all the coronation, everybody is gone and all that, when they were so relaxed and walking on the garden one fine evening, Bharata puts forward this question through Hanuman, because he didn't ask Rama directly. It is so much humility that he has. And Hanuman puts a request. Swami, if you agree, if you, your anugraham, if you, with your grace, Bharata has a question for you. Like that he says. And the question then, of course, Rama also explains when he was meeting with all the rishis and all that, in one of the various, we all think Rama came only to kill Ravana. No. Killing Ravana was only one part of the mission. There are so many other parts of the mission that he accomplished. Bhagavan does many things with one avataram, not just one thing. Unless he decides to come for only one thing like Narasimha Avataram. Even there he did more than one. So here, one of the great things that not great things, Swami, one of the things that, the most blessed thing that he did, graceful, where he showered grace on everybody, was the education of the rishis. The various rishis were there to educate, to guide and give the strength, and also to give the fulfillment of their tapas, whereby he gave them the avatara form to give the darshan. So those days, when he was in the forest, before he went to Dandakaranyam, and all the rishis used to come beautifully, and they used to ask so many questions, get their doubts clarified. Okay, and Swami is always open, always 24 hours, 7 days a week. He loves the spiritual related questions. He loves it. Any question you have by God, and the answer will immediately remove all your doubts. It's a phenomenal thing. In such a simple manner he will explain. And those times, and he also used to talk to Lakshmana also. Discourse on the divine knowledge, the Atma Vidya. So many things happen. Just imagine, how they were spending their time, right? There's nothing but this. So beautiful. And those discussions also, he used to describe what is Punyam, what is Papam. Okay, we all say Punyam and Papam and all that. What is Punyam and what is Papam? Really? So that question is there. If you really want to know the answer, you must ask the question. You cannot assume and go. Right? And the only place where you get the answer is Bhagavan. The punyam is all actions that are done in the company of Bhagavan and offered to Him, submitted to Him. Because we cannot do anything ourselves. That's a wrong notion we have to get out of. Okay, I am doing this, I am capable of this, I will achieve it. Yes, definitely with the skill that Bhagavan has given, but I must do it in His company, as His agent, and offer to Him. If I do anything in His company, offering it to Him, that becomes punyam. Anything that is not done this way is papam. So we can decide, each one of us, whether I am doing punyam or papam. It doesn't matter even if you feed someone who is very hungry, and if you think, I am giving him the food, then there is ego. That is papam. Right? Then you move away from Bhagavan. Even you may think you may be doing the puja and everything else. Okay? No. That doesn't mean anything. Okay? Charities that you do, help so many people you do, whatever so-called good things that we consider to be good things. Okay? Think the attitude with which you do. That is what the whole teaching of Bhagavad Gita is. That's what Rama taught. The attitude with which you do. Okay? That's what decides whether it is punyam or papam. Not the what of the action, but the how you do the action. The how. Okay? So punya upetam. Why? Because where does the punyam come from? Upetam. It comes from Him, in His company. So He is only in the company of Bhagavan. In nobody else's company. It doesn't matter what you think, even including the saints. Including the greatest rishis you can think of, it's not possible. Okay, only it comes from this Bhagavan, who is wearing this Pita Kauseya Vasam. Okay, Kaustubha Bhasita Angam. So that Bhagavan, Punya Upetam, Pundarika Ayata Aksham, like a lotus flower it is. Ayata Aksham, broad eyes. The eyes are like as if they are expanding. They are not narrow eyes. Visalam, we say, it's a Visalamana kan, we say in Tamil, right? So it's a very broad and expansive eyes that He has. And they are like the lotus flower. Okay? And the Lokita Aksham, it will come in Sahasranamam later. And the Bhagavan says, everything with Bhagavan is Padmam, Pandarikam. Okay, each one has got a different meaning in Sanskrit. Okay, even though we call lotus in English. Okay. And why lotus? Okay, Bhagavan says that. Why Bhagavan's eyes are Pundarikaksham? Why his feet are Pundarikapadam? What is that? Then he beautifully describes, Bhagavan himself describes us. Okay, is that just like a lotus flower that comes out of water and mud. It grows out of it. And so beautiful it is. But it is not attached to that at all. To be either the mud or the water. Like the way Bhagavan is present everywhere. He is all. Every action, every word, even the word I speak is Bhagavan only. Okay, and everything appears so enchantingly beautiful. See, remember, there is a huge bombardment of continuous attractions that we have in life, if you really look at it. Everything is attraction only. Everything. There is nothing that does not attract. Remember, if you just analyze it, you will see. So it's a continuous bombardment. There is no stoppage to it. Including your dream sleep, we are bombarded. Even in the deep sleep, we are bombarded. Except we are bombarded with peace. That is different. Still not the final stage. So this continuous thing, that the bombardment that is taking place, and it is so beautiful, isn't it? And otherwise we would not be attracted to it. Right? So, but Bhagavan is all of this, but he is not touched by anything, any of these things. Like the way lotus flower is so beautiful, but actually is not attached at all to either the water or the mud. Right? That's like same way, the whole creation is nothing but a Padmam, nothing but a lotus flower. It is so beautiful, but it is not attached to the creation. Okay? So, that is why the word Padmam, lotus, lotus feet, lotus eyes, lotus hands, okay, lotus face, all the things we talk about Bhagavan, with Padmam, Pundarikam, all these adjectives come there mainly to describe this aspect. Okay? So, Pundarika, Ayatakshan. It's a very broad eyes, so beautiful the eyes are. And Vishnum Vande Sarvaloka Ekanatham. Okay, that meaning you understand. Okay? Meghashyamam Pita Kauseyavasam Srivatsangam Kaustubhot Bhasitangam Sunyopetam Pundari Kayataksham Vishnum Vande Sarvalokaikanatham. Next one is here we say Namas Samasta Bhutanam Adi Bhutaya Bhubrite, that Aneka Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarvajishnave. Some people say that. Even though way I learned it was not there. In MS it is there. MS everybody recites it. So that is okay. So some people recite it. So it is good. Okay. We should never think, my way is not that. No. If somebody adds a beautiful slokam, say that's the tradition. Okay. And so Namas Samasta Bhutanam Namaha. Okay. It's not me. It is not me. I worship. Okay. Samasta. Samasta means everything, all the time, in all places, without exception, in totality. Okay. Bhutanam. All the beings that are there, that have taken name and form. Okay. And sometimes they don't have form but they have a name. Can you think of an example that has got a name but no form? Anybody? On the line, on the phone?
Air, wind.
Very good. Air, wind, very good.
Space.
Very good. Space, excellent. And what about happiness? What about sorrow? What about worry?
All emotions.
Right? All the feelings. So now you have an idea. Okay. So Samasta Bhutanam Adi Bhutaya. Okay. They all have originated and continue to originate, because creation is taking place every second, every kshanam. It is continuous. Creation is not a thing of the past. Creation is taking place continuously. Okay. So where does it come from? Adi Bhutaya. Okay. That Bhupate. That Bhu means the whole universe. The Pati, the one who is protecting. That Bhupate. Aneka Rupa Rupaya. Now, this entity, that is one entity, has taken infinite forms. And then it appearing in the form of infinite forms. Please remember that. That is a lesson that keeps coming back and back and back and back. Okay, so don't take it lightly. You'll see that in Purusha Suktam also begins with that. And here the very first word in Sahasranamam is also begins with that, Viswam. Okay, so but we should understand Aneka Rupa Rupaya. This entity, this Bhagavan, what is his form, sir? What is Bhagavan's form? It is all the forms, the infinite forms that you come across, interact with all your five senses. Okay? And the five senses of perception, and the five senses of action that we have, and the mind. Okay? Those 11 instruments that we have, all the things we interact, they cognize. That is Bhagavan. Aneka Rupa. And Rupaya, that is his form. Okay? Sahasra Sirisha. When you say Sahasra, you must understand. The Bhagavan is not like infinite forms and read it academically and go. We must treat everyone as the form of Bhagavan. What? Then, because it is so expansive and so huge that even beyond the ability of the mind to conceive, mind cannot conceive it. Mind can conceive so many things, but not the form of Bhagavan. Impossible, because it's beyond its ability to conceive. Therefore, what elders have given as rishis have given. This is not in the Vedam. You will not find this in the Upanishads. Vedangam you will not find. But rishis have given us in Puranangal and all that a form that I can relate to. I cannot worship Bhagavan in the form of a dog. My mind will resist it. But the moment I think of a human form, I can relate to it. So I think of Krishna, I think of Rama, right? Then, or Kanchi Paramacha, whatever we see, the Rishis or Ramana Maharishi, I can relate to because in human form, even though it is formless. So the form, but you hold on one form that you love, whatever form you like, doesn't matter, Ambal, whatever form you like, that one form. So Aneka Rupa Rupaya, Swami, you are in all these forms I see. I see so many people sitting here, so many people I interact with every day. I give them a name, immediately I limit it. When I look at you so and so, not as Bhagavan. Because I give a name to the form I see, so I'm limiting it. So to overcome that, we remember the simple mantra, Aneka Rupaya. Then I picture the form that I like the most as Bhagavan, Krishna, Rama, whatever form you have, one form, I picture the same form in the person that I see. I can picture that easily. Right? So slowly you can train yourself. Aneka Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarva Jishnave. This entity, this Adi Bhutam, Aneka Rupam Rupaya, from everything it has come, it is formless. Okay? That formless entity which is pervasive and present within all the things I see, Vishnave, all pervasive. How can it be all pervasive? It's like the atom that is present in everything that we see, even though we don't see the atom. Right? Just to give an approximate example there. See, now immediately you can say, oh, something is present within me. But you know it is not the atom because the body is going to be burnt one day, and what happened to that atom there? The atom is not destroyed. It just takes a different form. It goes back dissolves into the Panchabhutangas. Right? Then what happens to the Panchabhutam? Where is the end? What is present in that? So if you got to ask questions like that, that is the Sarva Jishnave. That means that's the one that is all the time, in all places, in all ways, victorious. Nothing can conquer it. Nothing can beat it. Nothing can overcome. That's the one that always emerges victorious. And that is Prema. Sarva Jishnave is Prema. Okay? That is Vishnu. Present in everything. That is the one Aneka Rupa Rupam. It has taken many forms. But it is only one. Okay? So, Namastamasya Bhutanam Adi Bhutaya Bhupate Aneka Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarva Jishnave Sashanka Chakram Sakirita Kundalam Sapita Vastram Sarasiruhe Kshanam Sahara Vakshasthala Kaustubham Namami Vishnum Sirasa Chaturbhujam Sashanka Chakram Sakirita Kundalam Sapita Vastram Sarasiruhe Kshanam Sahara Vakshasthala Kaustubham Namami Vishnum Sirasa Chaturbhujam. You all know the story, you all heard the story of Draupadi and Durvasa visiting them in the forest and put Draupadi and the Pandavas to this life or death challenge of serving lunch. You all know the story. You all know what Draupadi did about Akshaya Patram, right? It was empty, it was already washed. And what did she do at that time? Picture in a small hut, in a small corner, in a separate room, kitchen, so-called kitchen. Draupadi is extremely clean. Everything is parishuddham, and in its place, washed on the plate, pot is there. What did she do? She surrendered to Bhagavan. And she said, Swami, I cannot do anything. In the midst of a forest, I don't have provision. I can serve 1,000 people. Impossible. And Akshaya Patram power is gone today. Nothing I can do. When the earth opened from underneath you, trust me, brothers and sisters, no other place to go. Really know that your intelligence, your wealth, your position, your skills, ability are zero. Literally zero. They are worthless. The only place, it is not a joke, only place of refuge, of the thing you can grab onto is Bhagavan. And Bhagavan responds instantly. It's almost simultaneous. It is. It's amazing how it takes place. Amazing. So she surrenders to him, not for my sake, because she knows the anger of Durvasa. My husband will be punished and will be pulverized and killed due to his curse. I don't want to. I don't have no other place. At that time, what happened? There was a noise at the door of the house. She is in the other room. There was some kind. Immediately, we all know that in India, all the doors are open. So when some noise, immediately go and see. She goes there, and what does she see? Because she sees a form that is carrying Shankam on one hand and Chakram on the other hand. She sees this form, Sashanka Chakram, Sakirita Kundalam, wearing a beautiful crown and the props, Kundalangal, Tapita Vatram, shining yellow garment. So what we call as the lower garment, dhoti, veshti, whatever we call it, right? Shining yellow it is. So beautiful it is. I mean, and Sarasiruha Akshanam. Sarasiruha Akshanam. Akshanam. Sarasiruha Akshanam. So Sarasiruha Akshanam. So it is the eyes are like lotus flowers. Sarasiruha is another name for lotus flower. And that means something, that thing that is coming out of a lake or a pond. Out of. Very important. Okay, not just floating on the water. It's coming out of it. Okay, so that is the name for, that indicate lotus flower. So the lotus eyes, wearing yellow garment, and with a Shankam and Chakram, and with a shining crown and Kundalangal. Dazzling. Sahara Vakshasthala Sobhi Kaustubham. Sahara Vakshasthala Sobhi Kaustubham. Okay. Sahara. Okay, that means Vakshasthala means chest. Okay. And in the chest was the Sobhi, Prakasika. That means, Shobhikarvi we say, that means effulgent, shining forth, brilliantly, Kaustubham, that jewel. Now, what is Sahara? Sahara Vakshasthala. It is not an ordinary chest. No. The Sahara means the ultimate dissolution. Okay, everything gets dissolved into that part ultimately, the universe. Why? How come, sir? We are all talking of lotus feet all the time. How come all of a sudden it says Sahara Vakshasthala? No, see, Bhagavan, the Prema, the fountainhead, the ocean of Prema. Where do we say? When we show our chest only, when we say, when we do Namaskaram and we say, we promise something, we put things on our chest. We don't put it on our head or on our feet. What is the significance of that? We also say Mahalakshmi recites in Bhagavan's. Why? What? Because it is Hridaya. And out of that Hridaya, that is where Daya is established. That is where the ocean is there. From there, everything has sprung forth. And everything goes back and disappears into that, dissolves into that. So Sahara Vakshasthala, in that heart, what we call it, that chest part of the body, is this shining forth, is this beautiful jewel called Kaustubham. That now you can picture how Krishna appeared, right? When Draupadi prayed in this form, Namami, I bow to you. That's what she did. She immediately fell at his feet. Namami. Swami, not me, it's you. Namami, Vishnum, and see, Namami, Sirasa Namami. Vishnum, Sirasa Namami. Chaturbhujam, Vishnum, Sirasa Namami. So, why all of you got four hands? Right? You got a Shankam, you got a Chakram. Right? And Bhagavan appears there with a, it doesn't describe the Vadanam. It was so beautiful how Krishna's face was. Very mischievous, very smiling. And he had a hand, Abhaya Hastam. He has come in response to the call of the devotee. Same way he will respond to my call if I am devoted. He has no partiality. Okay? But with Abhayam, so when Bhagavan gives you Abhaya Hastam, all worries are gone. That is, it is not a nirbhayam. It is not an elimination of worries. It is a place where even worry doesn't exist. Abhayam. With a very nice, smiling, mischievous face, he stands there with four hands. Okay? And that Vishnu, who is present everywhere and in everything, Sirasa Namami. Very important. Not immediately bowing the head, and that is not physically. No. That means nothing. We all go and do Sirasa Namami at temples everywhere to elders and all that. We don't do Sirasa Namami. Yes, we bow our head and touch our head and all that. Sirasa means in complete humility, absence of ego. Okay? This swollen head that we all have, right? That is not there. That is also submitted there. That is why Sirasa is very important. There is complete submission, the surrender. Okay? That Namami. Okay? That's how Draupadi worship. So you can picture that. Sasanka Chakram, Sakrita Kundalam, Sapita Vastram, Sarasiruhe Kshanam, Sahara Vakshas Kalastobi Kaustubham, Namami Vishnum, Sirasa Chaturbhujam, Chayayam Parijadasya, Hema Simhasanopari, Asinam Ambudasyama Mayata Kshamalankrtam, Chandrananam Chaturbahum, Srivatsankira Vakshatam, Sri Rukmini Sathya Bhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnam Asraye. The Dhyanam portion, how Krishna is, so many ways you can picture him. So many Dhyana Slokams are given. First is, purify me, purify my mind. Then it starts, right? First Slokam was, say, Punyadari, it says, right? Punyate, it says that. Then, okay. So, then we say Namami, right? And then we say Vande, right? We saw all that. Then, how Bhagavan appears, Mega Shyamam, right? And then, into Namasamasta Bhutana, Bhagavan is present. So, it's a reminder to us when we recite Sahasranamam that everything is Bhagavan only. It is not that Bhagavan is all pervasive. Even that is not correct. Bhagavan is everything, is all. Okay? But then if you, Mahapariva used to say, if you describe it just like that, Bhagavan is all, that's it, close the book and go, that we don't understand anything. So then when you start describing it in different aspects of it, then you get an inkling into what, Bhagavan is all, what that means, right? So that is why all the descriptions are given. And so Namasamasta Bhutanam we saw, so that would be important reminder. Then we have this beautiful reminder from how Draupadi would have experienced, how Krishna appeared to her. Then another way Bhagavan is, how is he? Another thing. Chayayam Parijadasya. Parijatam is jasmine flower. Chayayam, in the shade given by the jasmine flowers. They're putting it crudely. What does it mean? It means not only that the physical shade of when you have a beautiful jasmine thing that we decorate over like not only with garlands and all that, right? So big on top of your head that you can get a shade underneath it. That's one way of looking at it. Another thing is the fragrance. So when you are garlanded with jasmine garlands, and how beautiful the fragrance is, phenomenal. So chayayam, under the shade of this jasmine flower, to put it crudely, but you can picture how the thing is. Chayayam parijadasya hema simhasana upari. A simhasanam, it's a lion throne, hemam, made out of gold. Upari, on top of that. Okay? So on top of this golden lion throne, asinam, sitting. The picture of Krishna is being given here. Okay? Asinam, sitting. Ambuda shyamam. Ambuda. Ambuda means clouds, like a mehanga, like a cloud. Shyamam, we saw that. Mega shyamam, ambuda shyamam, they mean the same thing. Okay? Ambuda, so dark, pitch dark here. Okay? Please, when you picture Krishna, we should never put down anybody who's dark in complexion. Okay, that's a complex that has been given to us after the British rule. Okay, not prior to that. And only after the British rule we got that. So we think, when somebody has to be fair, this fair and lovely cream that is being advertised in India, these are stupid. Okay, Bhagavan himself was very dark in color only, the one that we picture. Okay, so we should never put down somebody because they got a dark skin or a fair skin immediately. That nonsense we must overcome in our mind, if we have it. Okay, and that's very common in India, as you know. That's why I chose to mention that a little bit detail. So asinam ambudashyamam, right? Ambudashyamam ayata aksham. We saw what ayata aksham means. Broad eyes, right? Open, so beautiful eyes it is, right? Alankritam, beautifully decorated. Okay, with ornaments and everything. Chandra ananam. That means like a face of a moon. What does the face of a moon mean? So prasanna vadanam, so pleasing and cool it is. It does not mean the face is white and the body is dark. It does not mean that way. Don't think of it that way. Okay? It is when you look at Chandran, you feel like a full moon. How do you feel? So happy and cool, isn't it? Comforting. There's something indescribably pleasing about it, comforting about it, calming about it. So when you look at Bhagavan's face, you calm down, pleasing, comforting. So Chandra Ananam, Chaturbaham with 4 shoulders, 4 hands, Sri Vatsa Angita, Sri Vatsanga, Vatsa Angita Vakshasam. Okay. We know what Vatsanga means, right? The Sri Vatsa we know.
Body.
What is that? That mark got by the wound. So that is in the chest. Sri Vatsa Angita Vakshasam. Vakshasthalam we saw is chest. Right? So Angita is the body. Sri Vatsa is the mark. So that body, now you can see Bhagavan wearing this yellow garment seated there on this golden lion throne, right? With 4 hands, with Prasanna Vadanam, with Chandrananam, and the beautiful fragrance of jasmine flowers all over, and it is Ambudashyamam, dark, and with broad eyes, when you look at him, get the darshan of Bhagavan like this, and he's got the Srivatsa mark on his chest, right? And he's also Rukmini Satyabhama Bhyam Sahitam. He's also accompanied Sahitam along with Rukmini and Satyabhama. That Krishnam, Astraye, I surrendered to him for his protection. Because, not for his protection, he is the one who's protecting all of us. Astraye. Bhagavan himself says, among all the jobs that I do, what is the most important job? Bhagavan does so many infinite things. He says, Asraya is the most important job. Protecting. Because he is the only protector. Not the final protector, he is the only protector. Even when somebody gives us a protection, like say I'm very hungry, somebody comes and feeds me, or a child comes and crying to the mother, and the mother comforts her, or to the father, or whatever it is, right? That sense of protection we have by talking to somebody, you're worried and you share your worries with your friend, and somebody gives you a consoling word, and those things, and you feel a sense of protection. But that essence of protection in that is what? Is nothing but prema. And that prema is the asraya. That way Bhagavan, he says, that is my most important job. He himself has said that. So, the asraya, that Krishna is protecting all of us. We are under his shade, under the chayayam, and Bhagavan's fragrance is incomparable. Something like parijatam. Okay? How beautiful it is. It's protecting us. That Krishnam asraye. Chayayam parijadasya hema simhasanopari asinamam budasyamam ayatak samalankritam chandrananam chaturbahum srivatsangita vakshasam rukmini satyabhamabhyam sahitam krishnamaasraye. Om. Okay, now the Sahasranamam begins. Now up to this point, I mentioned to you that portion is not present in Mahabharata. So, the Sankara Bhashyam has not given Vakyanam or Bhashyam for this portion we just covered. I think I mentioned to you where the Bhashyam ends, right? And these have been added later on by elders. So now the Bhashyam begins. Adi Sankara, Ramanujacharyan, okay? Everybody has given now Bhashyam for the portion that's coming now. This is in Mahabharata. Om Viswam Vishnu Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Krit Bhuta Vridbhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavanaha. Must take effort to pronounce each aksharam properly. Okay, and when you're reading it in Tamil, nothing wrong in that, but listen to M.S. Subbulakshmi, for example, and understand each letter's pronunciation properly and try to replicate it. It is not impossible, it is very easy. You have to overcome the mental laziness of doing it. That's all. Okay? So, Viswam Vishnu Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Krit Bhuta Bhrit Bhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavanaha. Viswam. It is all, everything. The Viswam means it is just in English. It is so, the word when you say all, it doesn't capture it properly. From where everything has come, by which everything is protected, unto which everything goes. The point where once you reach that point, once you are in that way of consciousness and awareness, there is no point, there is no return from that place. Right? There are so many ways to understand that. We say all pervasive. That is also doesn't capture it. None of the words that Sahasranamam utters captures Bhagavan fully. Please understand it. It's only one aspect of it that it is trying to describe. That's all. So please understand it that way. So Viswam means that is, as I mentioned to you, it is everything. For anything to happen, there is a cause for it. There is a reason for it, isn't it? So what is the reason, the cause, why all the things that I see, why this life, why this misery, why this happiness, what is happening when you start looking at not only with the eyes but also with the ears and the smell and all we have, with the five senses of perception that we have, all the things that I perceive, what is the reason, what is the cause behind all this? They ever thought about it? That is Viswam. And everything, second point, meaning we covered the thing that is present as in so many ways and continuously changing. There is nothing that is duplicated. There is nothing that remains the same. Everything changes. There is a kaleidoscope, non-stoppable, unstoppable way of it is going. Right? So, all of it, thoughts, words, actions, perceptions, whatever we think of, right? Relations, right? Things come and go, so many things, right? Infinite amount of things. And that is Viswam. Now, if all of it is Viswam, then it must be present in everything. It appears as so many things, but it must be present in it. The thing that is present in everything also is Viswam. Then, if you look at the universe, and if you close your eyes, if you close your ears, you hear a sound. We all open our ears and we hear sound. But if I close it, you hear a sound, isn't it? What is that sound? Right? Where does it come from? Have you ever thought about it? See, that is the origin, that is what we call Pranavam, right? The Omkaram, how the whole creation took place with that Sabdamayi, we say, with that. The whole thing that is present everywhere, including the sound a bird makes, or I make, or a dog makes, or even a falling leaf makes. Okay, whatever sound that you see, okay, that is all a manifestation of the overall, the basic sound that is present, which we call as Omkar. Right? Everything is Sabdamayi only. Everything is Sabdamayi. In physics, we may explain it differently, but we got to go to the next step. But how does it happen? Where does it come from? Keep on digging further, you will find the whole manifestation has been based upon Omkaram. So that manifestation, that Sabdamayi, that basis is also Viswam. So many ways Adi Sankara Bhagavad tries to explain this word Viswam. Okay. Now, there is again, personally speaking, you must personalize this. It's not outside. Okay, don't make the mistake of keeping Bhagavan away from you. That has got its own beauty. It has got its own happiness it gives. We do Namaskaram and do puja, and that's all fine. There's nothing wrong in that. But that's also Bhagavan. That's where you get happiness. But don't keep him separate. He's very much part. So as we enjoy and enjoy this nectar and partake this nectar of Sahasranamam, we must consciously and deliberately discipline ourselves. My suggestion would be for you to consider, and it would be for your benefit, to take this personally. This everything is me, This is Bhagavan, the indweller within me. Then it becomes very personal and you get closer to Bhagavan. What is the next one? There is something. Yes, I like things, I dislike things, I like somebody, I don't like somebody, certain things I prefer, certain things I don't prefer. So many things are going on in our life. Fine. But we also know, individually, personally, there is something there that is not touched by the like and the dislike. The truth. I'm not able to give a word to it, but I know it is there. Yes or no? That is Viswam. Beyond likes and dislikes. That is prema. That is nothing but prema. So the moment I say prema, we can relate to it a little bit closer. Correct? So that is Bhagavan. Then there is something in us that really does not want to harm. Isn't it? there is something we call it conscience, right? Don't hurt, don't harm this. Hurting something, harming something is unnatural. It doesn't fit in. So we know. So there is something that says don't do that. That doesn't harm anything at all. That doesn't hurt anything at all. That entity is present within us. That is this one. Okay, see, it is present everywhere. It is everything. Right? See how the fundamental, the root is described in the word Viswam. Okay, everything else is coming from there only. From the Viswam, then Vishnu comes. Okay? So, with due respect and reverence, we must listen to the way Adi Sankara Bhagavan describes us. Okay? Then, because it is so amazing, Acharyavat is what Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. When you look at this, nothing but amazement, wonderment. How is it possible that such a thing can, because our mind is really boggled. Beyond my intelligence, I can try to understand. Once I understand one bit, then I see something else I have not understood. Once I go to one border, then I see there is something else beyond it that I have to understand. So it's endless. So I really, if you are sincerely, and don't have to admit to anybody, but in your heart of heart, each one of us know that this is nothing but amazement, wonderment, right? This ascharyam that is present. The moment you see that, what is your automatic response is to worship it, to respect it, to praise it in limited words, but you're not able to stop praising it because it is so powerful. So that entity that is present, that is Viswam. Okay. Now, I mentioned about that something that doesn't want to hurt anything, right? At the same time, there is an impulse in each one of us. Same impulse is present. Some of us manifest it a little bit more, some of us keep it bottled for various other reasons. But the basic impulse is to help ever. This absolute stranger, you may be walking on the street, in front of you, some person you don't even know, all of a sudden falls down. What do? I say, it doesn't bother me, I don't even know him. Will you walk by? Immediately you will pick up your phone, call 911 or something and go and attend to him, right? When they say, why? What is the connection? Right? And if you look at it, this impulse to help others. Others means others are not different from us. That is why we do that. That's a fundamental truth. They're all part and parcel of, if my toe gets hurt, I don't ignore it. Okay? And my eyes warn my toes not to step on a stone because part of the same body. Same way, when we're all part and parcel of the same body, the Viswarupam, the Bhagavan Virata Rupam that he is God, we don't realize it. Part and parcel of the same body. So the natural tendency, the same blood that goes from my heart to my toe and to my head, this blood flow of prema is flowing for all our parts. So automatically we have this natural tendency and impulse to help. Okay? That is Viswam. Okay? Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. We say that. That is a natural thing. It is not something you have to learn from outside. You just have to dust it off, remove all the things that is hiding it. Right? And then the thing will shine. That is the natural thing. Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. Right? That is Viswam. And we mentioned saying the worshipful, praiseworthy, right? So that entity that is present in everything, as everything, including us. This is the beauty of it. Okay? That the mind trying to grasp, it returns in utter defeat and in turn submits itself to it. And that is what we call as humility. Humility is nothing but submitting yourself to Bhagavan and living your life in that frame of mind. Then you have humility, you have vinayam, Okay? So that entity that draws this kind of a praise from us, even though it is not looking for our praise. No, it is not. It is absolutely contented. It doesn't say you praise me, you worship me, none of those things. There is nowhere you will read that Bhagavan says you come and do worship to me. No, it is my way. That's all. And that entity, that because of its presence, of its existence, that's the only thing that exists, it automatically draws this kind of a conduct from us. Right? That in Bhagavan Upanishad it says, Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityur ma amrutam gamaya. Okay? Asato ma sadgamaya. I know this is all not true. I know that. I mean, each one of us knows this is the falsehood that we are living in. We all know that, right? And we want to get out of it too, but we are not making enough effort. That's all. So we pray to Bhagavan, to this entity. Lead me. This is all absolutely false. It's a play that is Maya. It's not true. Take me to truth. I want to be there. Asato ma sadgamaya. Right? Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. In order to do that, I am lazy. Okay? Remove my tamasic gunam. Remove my ignorance and shine the light that you are there, so the light can shine. And mrityur ma amrutam gamaya. I know this body is going to die. So many things I see. Everything comes and goes. Nothing is permanent. Okay? From this impermanent, take me to the permanence itself. This prayer is not only given by human beings, Asato ma sadgamaya prayer. We say in Sanskrit, we recite it and go on. No. All the 8.4 million creations that Bhagavan has created, every single one of them has this prayer. Is what Bhagavan Upanishad says, including a speck of sand, including a sapling that you put and it grows out of the earth. Immediately you tend it and you bring the leaves and the fruits and all that, flowers. No, they have the same prayer. Why? What is that entity that draws this prayer? Viswam. Okay? That is why, with one short anecdote, I will conclude for today. When we talk of, when you go and pluck flowers from a tree, from a plant, and in order to do our archana and to Bhagavan, put it there, okay? What makes us do this? Think, that is one. So we think, I'm putting this flower there. Right? That's the way we all think. That's not what's happening. What is happening is, the flower is offering itself to Bhagavan, and I am being used as a tool. The moment I think I put this in there, you're gone. Okay, Bhagavan is not looking to you, looking to the flower. Why? Bhagavan himself says, and it has happened. When you go and pluck, let us say there are some different, let's say roses are there. Okay, she's brought roses today, I think, whatever. And you go and pluck it as nice and flower, so you pluck it lovingly to give to Bhagavan. And then the other one, is there are lots of flowers, you pluck few, and then you leave a few behind. Right? What about the flowers that are left behind? How do they feel? Have you ever thought of it? Bhagavan says. Or you pick a bunch of them and you make a garland, and some flowers are left behind. They are not in the garland. How do those flowers feel? Bhagavan says, once put a garland like this and do this, and you think, how beautifully Swami looks, it's a rose from my garden that I brought. I did the garland, see, perfect. It is not even, what a beautiful garland you have made. We get the appreciation and we go away. Bhagavan is not at all pleased. Remember, not you. It's a flower that he is looking for. What about the flowers left behind that are not in the garland? He says once, see, those flowers are crying. Really, Swami? Really, flowers are crying? Yes, go and touch them. You'll find the things that are left behind will be wet. They are crying. That's when I learned, this is what happens when you offer garland to Bhagavan. It is not how you make the garland, how beautifully it is, and take a nice iPhone picture and send to people. No. It is something else that is taking place. So every little thing is having this prayer. Prayer to whom? Praiseworthy. You pray to that is praiseworthy. That is Viswam. Okay? Viswam Vishnu Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhutakrit Bhuta Bhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavanaha. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.